Let's talk about Dragon Ball Daima for 11th anniversary. The headliners. I wanted to go over the community's reaction, the response to it. This is not going to be an entirely focused video on the 11th anniversary reaction so far, just because I don't know if I really want to talk about that right now. I just want to talk about part 1. Part 2 is kind of its own beast, but for part 1 we got Super Saiyan 3 Daima Vegeta, Super Saiyan 4 Daima Goku, both adult versions as the Dokkan Fest headliner LR characters to summon for. Difference from last year, we didn't get 3 in part 1, we got 2, like we're used to. Goku got the Dokkan Fest and Vegeta got the Carnival. I know there's a lot of people that said Vegeta getting the Carnival feels like a bit of a downgrade compared to Goku, but honestly, I think it's better to do the Dokkan X Carnival format instead of going back to what 8th year did, which was dual Dokkan Fest LRs in part 1. I think at this point we are just past that, and I think that's for the better. Secondly, I think the categories picked for Goku were good, and I think that for me at least, I was very hyped that they finally came to the game. I wanted to get into one thing though. The fact that so many people said that they were not hyped, hey, that's perfectly understandable, it's their own opinion. Thing I don't get is why, if you really wanted them to come out at some point in time, why would you not be hyped that they were coming now? It doesn't make sense to me that if you really wanted them, regardless of when they came out, that them coming out so much later has such a huge effect. Like I can understand it's not directly after they came out in the show, and that will lessen the hype to some degree. But did you want them or did you not want them? Like, were you just on the hype train for Daima as a whole? Or did you actually want Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Daima Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta? To me, it doesn't make sense that them coming out later would lessen it to the point that you're not hyped at all, for one. For two, another thing that kind of made people not enjoy, not feel super hype about them, was the animations. Now, I think both have great intros. I think Vegeta specifically has a great 12 key. His 18 key is a little lackluster, but it doesn't look bad. It's just, it doesn't really, he does like the one punch and then the knee, and then it doesn't kind of go anywhere. It's like, I don't know, to me, the 18 key is a bit lackluster, but it's okay. And then the EX Super. I really like his EX Super. That one has seemed to gotten some mixed reception amongst the community, but personally I like that they kind of took a little bit from Super Vegeta from the Cell Saga. I like that he's got that little face split at the very end. And I really like the track that they chose, which is also his intro track. The OST that they chose. It's hype. It's hype. Now, Goku is where it gets a bit more complicated. The intro looks amazing. It's a little rushed, but you would expect that for Dokkan, because even though they want to get most of the animations in, we've seen a ton of examples in the past where things are just a little bit quicker in the game because it's a video game. It's not the anime. And that makes sense. That's fine. I think the intro speeds it up in the right places. Then we get to the super attacks. A lot of people have been saying they didn't like the 18 key, or the 18 key, 12 key, they're ugly. Some people felt like it wasn't representative of the show. I think the thing that I haven't seen almost anyone say about, let's just start with the 12 key. The 12 key, I've heard some people say, it's so much better because you can see Goma's face reacting, and yes, that helps. But the thing about the 12 key that I don't like, the very start of it, is him doing the power up and saying "Here I come," which is really cool. He's got the white outline and everything. He opens his eyes, very cool. But then when he rushes forward, it's not that you don't see Goma reacting. You don't know which direction he's going in. You can't tell if he's going away from the camera or towards the camera. There's no spatial understanding. And while it is shot for shot like the anime makes it pretty clear because Goma is so large that you can't really miss which direction he's heading in. So there's that. The second part is at the end of the 12 key, when he's sliding across the ground with the enemy. To me, I have looked at the comparison, and people say, oh, it looks the same in both. To me, I look at the one in the anime, and it just looks better. It does not look like the one in Dokkan. The Dokkan one just looks lazier. I can't agree that they are the same. The 12 key in Dokkan just looks like two PNGs sliding across the screen, whereas like they've got some camera movement in the anime that makes it look a little more believable, not just lazily moving two assets across the screen. And then the 18 key, the non-EX Super has a very ugly shot of Goku right at the start. And then past that, it's just kind of lackluster. It's just boring, you know? There's shots that really could have been in the final cut, and they just didn't choose them for whatever reason. I have no clue. There are, I'll try to put them up on screen, but there's like a number of really cool moments that just, where are they? Where are they, Omatsu? Where are they, Bandai? Where are they, Akatsuki? That is not good, that they didn't include things that we really were looking for. It's not just what's there that's an issue. They also didn't include stuff that would have been cooler. And then the active skill. Now the active skill does look good. It does look good, but there's still missing parts. As many people have pointed out, there's the electricity and the arm power up and the face looking straight at the screen that's just really not there. And then on top of that, there is they don't hold on the shot where he's firing the Kamehameha from the side for long enough. So both of those things aren't great. And then even the KO screen has a slight issue with me. The fact that he has that cool look where his hands are glowing and everything. They could have held on that. But then the glow goes away and then his hands kind of close a bit. Why? What's the point of that? Like, it kind of takes away from the coolness to me. I mean, it's not too much to harp on, but yeah, it's just, I have problems with that. I have problems with that. And I feel like part of the reason I wanted to make this video is because I haven't heard anyone else say the specific things that they were missing. Now, maybe there's some people that have mentioned that and I missed them, but I felt like I just needed to say it for myself. I can't really say much for Vegeta's part. Vegeta's looks fine. Vegeta's active skill looks fine. I already talked about his supers. But that's the animations. That's talking about the hype from the community. The other thing I wanted to mention was the content. Now, like I said before, I'm not getting into the entirety of the 11th anniversary. However, I do want to kind of touch on it a little bit with part 1 and part 2. There was a number of people, because of the fact that they didn't... There's people that are making posts because they don't like Daima as a whole, saying that this anniversary is unhyped because of it, and they're blaming Daima, and you know, whatever. Like, if you feel that way, sure. Even though they were able to get top grossing as well, and I think it's a little bit silly to blame it all on Daima. But there was also blaming the lack of content on specifically Daima, saying, oh, Daima couldn't handle being anniversary. And then part 2 comes out and the same complaints persist. I mean, at that point, what is the argument? To me, I don't see any reason why Daima has to shoulder the blame for all the bad things that have happened during the anniversary that people feel like have happened at least. I think picking Daima for 11th anniversary, it's a break from the norm. It's a change in that, in a sense, this is kind of different from what they usually do. The first time that they had characters show up as in their new forms as LRs for their first appearance, I would argue is Beast Gohan and Orange Piccolo during the end of 2022 year celebration going into New Year's. That, regardless of whether you consider physical Ultimate Gohan to be Beast Gohan, I truly believe Bandai, Akatsuki, Dokkan considers physical Ultimate Gohan to be Beast Gohan because of the active skill. I do believe that. And same thing with Power Awakening Piccolo turning into Orange Piccolo. They might not see it as, oh, he wasn't playable, but I believe that they see it as that was his first appearance. And they did talk about at the time that was a first time thing that they've done, that it's a new, not specifically that it's the new character first appearance as an LR, but more like this was a special celebration because of the movie. I would say the same thing extends to Daima to a degree. You could argue because Mini SS4 existed before and Mini SS3 existed before, that the adult forms getting it for anniversary doesn't count, but I would consider those to be two separate quote-unquote characters, not literally characters in the sense that it's obviously still Goku and Vegeta, but more so in the way that games consider characters different characters. Like how Tenkaichi, for example, will boast 160 plus characters, but many of them are repeats in different transformations. Those are considered different characters because they have like different kits. It's a different release of a character, basically. So yeah, I would consider it to be a break from the norm, a bit unique, and something that they really don't do too often, to have the new characters in their newest forms be introduced into the game as LRs, especially as Dokkan Fest LRs, but as LRs regardless. That's something they don't usually do. Now, you could also argue Goma and Cell Max had that same situation, but I think because of their low hypeness, there's a reason both of those characters are Yellow Coin characters. They might be the antagonists of their story, and people might love them and feel like they're hype, but I believe that the larger Dokkan community and the larger, really, Dragon Ball community does not really care about those characters, especially as characters. They're more just the end to a movie, or a saga, some fight. They're the climax of the fight. But yeah, the point that I'm trying to make is that them doing that for Goku and Vegeta, I liked it for a number of reasons that I listed already, as well as the fact that they needed to get in game. Daima needed to have its climax in game. So picking it for 11th anniversary as the headliners, as the starters to the anniversary, is a really good idea when you've waited this long, especially because you shouldn't have waited that long in the first place. But it makes their mark on the game memorable. There will be a time, probably in a couple years, where people are looking back fondly, maybe not at the 11th anniversary as a whole, but at these characters. And, in 3 years' time when they get Easy Aid, I mean, they might have become beloved by that point, or at least by the time that they Easy Aid, they might be beloved. So, yeah, I just wanted to bring up some of the talking points I was seeing that just didn't seem correct to me. It seemed very odd. And yeah, if you have any ideas or thoughts on what do you think about Daima? Not just taking this long, but what do you think about taking the new series and letting it be anniversary? Now that we've got another basically new series, or Super's coming back. If you haven't heard or living under a rock for some reason, Super's coming back. And so it's going to be called Super the Galactic Patrol arc, as far as I know. I don't think it's just going to be called Dragon Ball Super, and that's it. So if we're just going to consider this as a quote-unquote new series, what do you think about the idea of having the new series, new characters come in as anniversary headliners? What do you think about that? Like, how do you feel that's going to apply when we get, you know, Susanoo Goku and Ultra Ego Vegeta, you know? What do you feel about that happening all the way out then? Let me know what you think, and take care.